1
Nobody
hour
can
later.
wear.
Does the recording get all of our dick jokes in the chat?
You swore.
No. No, it does not.
Darn it!
Guys,
If you
watch
read
your
them out loud,
fucking
they will.
language.
What did Derek say?
If you read the dick jokes out loud, they will.
What about being too deep?
Put them in the quotes section.
Oh, we need a quote section.
Definitely.
We have a
We already
We
have
We have a
one.
quote section. Where?
on the wiki.
Fuck.
I actually didn't know about this, and now I need to.
I
I
love
never
how
saw that.
people are like, yeah, I
Same
read the
sex-
wiki. And then they're like, how does this work? And I'm like, you didn't read the wiki.
All right, we were so close to being on track.
So close.
So what I would like to do is Agate would like to ask around and like find like something about magic to like help me get Jasper back. So for the first place I'm gonna go is I'm going to go to Butter's shop.
All right. Are you taking anyone with you or just on your own?
Does anyone want to come with me? Turn Jack, you can learn about magic.
Yes, I want that.
Okay, we're going.
All right, so you have a relatively uneventful walk down to the Bushy Tail, and as you walk in, there's a tail that sort of peeks out from behind the corner. Jack, where exactly is the entrance to Yggdrasil?
I think we said it was in her kitchen cabinet.
Okay,
You know,
great.
like where
So
you would
hidden,
put
not
silverware.
here. Great. And she says, "I'll be right with
Basically
you."
Narnia.
Yeah, great. Good to know. And she sort of shouts, "I'll be right with you," and you can hear her rummaging around. And Trindak, I don't remember if you've been here before.
I have been there once, and I was kind of weirded out.
Okay, so nothing much has changed. There are still way too many tiny rodent eyes seemingly watching everything you do.
Yeah, basically, Trindak's gonna stand there kind of quietly, just like kind of wide-eyed, still confused.
Okay, so Butter sort of pops up and says, "Ah, you're back. How can I help you? The spider eggs have not hatched yet."
That's good. So when we were killing the worm thing so that you could send your cousins home or whatever, I lost Jasper and I don't know how to get him back. And I thought maybe because you know something about magical animals, you might be able to help. If we like went back there and we found like all the we found the parts of him or something, could you put him back together?
She sort of looks at you and sort of purses her lips and says, "I see. What do you do magic?"
I think I can do some magic, but didn't you bring him to life for me?
That's not exactly how it works. I gave you, in a sense, the body in which to put him. And I believe that body may be gone, but what kind of magic do you do exactly? And she sort of is rubbing her hands together.
Oh no, I can Eldritch Blast things.
Would you know actually what that's called?
Be rather like I can like hit things really hard when I like think about hitting them.
I can attest to that.
And what form, in what way does that manifest itself exactly?
It like something just like hits the thing. I don't know why I have magic. I don't know what to do to get Jasper back.
Do you have any strange dreams?
I had a dream the other day that Trindak ate like 20 sausages in a row. That was pretty strange. He's only eaten 15 max.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that one.
Butter kind of looks you up and down, Trindak. And she pauses at your belly, kind of like trying to figure out how that fits.
Well, what do you think?
And
I'm the
then
weird one.
she sort of she like opens her mouth and then just kind of shakes her head and looks back to you, Agate. Would you? One moment, and sort of ducks behind her counter and comes out with something that looks eerily like a target and says, "Would you mind hitting this gently?"
Okay. I'm gonna Eldritch Blast it.
Okay, you hit. Roll for damage.
Okay, well, I'm gonna Eldritch Blast.
Okay. She stumbles backward and is like, gently. Gently!
I'm sorry, I don't know how to do it gently. I just know how to hit things.
No, sorry, that was a Princess Bride quote. I shouldn't have done that.
You fool!
I love the gag reel when Prince Humperdinck like comes out and goes, "My people!" And the actual line is, "A month from now, Gilder," or something or other. But in the gag reel, it's, "My people, a month from now, I forgot my line."
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's like the tenses are all wrong. So she kind of stumbles backwards and her hair is a little bit frazzled. She says, like, sort of pushes it off her forehead and then goes, all right, well, that answers one question. You're sure you don't have any dreams about, say, eyes or supernatural beings or anyone with whom you may have made some kind of bargain?
I mean, if I had.
I see.
What the hell kind of questions are these? Where do you people even get your magic? I don't get it.
Well, I can't do this when the chat is exploding with Ukatoa.
I still have no idea what Ukatoa is. It's just funny to me. It's just a meme.
No, it's a critical role thing. One of the characters is a warlock whose patron they find out is Ukatoa, and
I see.
then Laura Bailey and what's his name?
Lawrence.
Taliesin Jaffe are just like, every time Matt said Ukatoa, they'd be like, Ukatoa, Ukatoa.
I love it.
Yeah, so. Patron! Ukatoa.
Patrons, am I right?
Patron.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Patron.
Smash that like button!
Smash. Okay, so you don't have a patron. She has ascertained that you may be a warlock, maybe, but the fact that you don't have a patron is confusing. Back into character. I see. Can you heal anyone? Maybe touch them and they come back to life, or heal from a wound they should not have been able to.
No, I don't. I know people who can do that, but I can't do that.
Do your spells always work the same way?
Mostly just use Eldritch Blast, but yes.
I see. And you can't really...
Let's see.
Alright. You don't have visions of any kind. How long have you had these powers?
Maybe like 4 months. Not very long. I don't know how I got them.
I see. Well,
Only 4 months.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm so confused. You're not born with this kind of thing?
some people
I
are
wasn't.
not. Some people have it gifted upon them, or in other cases, the powers lie latent for a while, only to come out at moments of snapping. It does not exist in this universe. For those readers of Brandon Sanderson, only to come out at moments of great trauma. But I do believe Agate, in some way, has managed to create a bond with a creature from... What did we say Jasper was? Was he a fiend?
Faye.
Faye. I think he's a Faye, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying that that's why the Fae wanted to do it, so.
I don't remember that,
All
but okay.
familiars are technically Fey beings, but that's okay.
They can also be fiends.
Yeah.
Jax is a fiend.
Friend or foe?
Friend. I believe you may have somehow created a strong bond with a creature from another realm, which took place in Jasper. I
So
also believe that you
he's
may
not
be able
dead?
to call... No, only that the creature's connection has been severed from this realm temporarily. If you like, I can guide you through bringing him back so that you can do it yourself in future.
I would appreciate that. I'm so glad I can bring him back. Do we have to like go get him? Because I lost him in there.
No,
Well, thank God.
when he is present, can you call him and have him appear in places other than when he originally disappeared?
Yeah, sometimes I can make him like pop wherever I want him to.
I see. So really what that means is that he's not really bound to the material plane the way you and I are. He's merely lost his connection to it momentarily. So what you need to do is go out and buy incense.
Like
Right.
the stuff the stuff that smells funny.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
And then what do I do?
And once you've found someone who can furnish you with... I'm trying to find all the details of the spell.
The spell is 10
Sorry.
gold pieces of incense and burning
Charcoal, incense, and herbs that must be consumed by fire in a brass brazier. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, let me make you a list. And she sort of pulls a piece of foolscap out from behind her desk and starts writing down charcoal, incense, herbs, and she says, you will eventually want to purchase a brazier made of brass, but for now I have that, and you can wait. You'll need about 10 gold worth of these materials. I don't carry them here. I specialize in... She sort of waves above her head. But you should be able to find that at any
So
regular shop.
should I get that and then I should come back here?
Yes.
Or I like run out of the shop.
Okay, cool.
I chase her out.
It's not too hard to find a place that sells them. You have to sort of walk around, but probably within like 2 hours you manage to get all the materials you need. And
Can I buy like 5 servings worth of bringing Jasper back?
that would be 50 gold pieces.
Do that?
Okay. And then I'm not quite sure how much a brass brazier would cost. ODM of economy. But that would okay, having found things. It looks like that would probably be like 50 gold
Buy that.
on top. Okay. Awesome. And then you, I suspect, head back to the bushy tail. Correct? I'm getting really weird sound quality.
Back to bushy tail.
Back to bushy tail. Trindak?
Yes.
Q. So when you get there, Butter is sort of rearranging similar looking chipmunks to Jasper, but not really, on the shelves. And as she sees you, she says, "Wonderful!" And as you're like pulling all the things out of your satchel, she says, "I see you brought a brazier too. Yes, just come in the back." And she sort of sets up the brazier and arranges the incense in circles and the charcoal concentrically around that, and then some of the herbs in the center, and says, "Now you will need to light it." And she sort of sparks tinder and flint, and sets fire to it in 3 different places. And then he says, "Now you just concentrate on the form you want Jasper to take."
Hey Jasper, can you please come back? I'm so sorry.
And it takes about an hour, so it's... No, right? Okay.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10
I'm
minutes.
finding something here that says an hour, which is really weird because I thought it was 10 minutes.
minutes. Or at least in Critical Role, it's 10 minutes.
Cool. That's weird. So you spend 10 minutes just sort of
Mind
concentrating.
familiar cast
1 hour.
1 hour plus 10 minutes if it's ritual cast.
There we go.
Which it would be, because she's a warlock. So, woo!
I don't think
Having literally just looked at this, Derek.
Specifically, it's specifically from.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, specifically because of the war. Yes. No, I got it.
Thank you. So you spend an hour and 10 minutes setting this up, and it's helpful to know that Butter's right next to you, and every time you get a little bit scared that Jasper won't come back because he's annoyed. Is someone talking outside or inside this chat?
Jack's talking to somebody outside.
Okay.
I think it was Derek, actually. He just muted himself.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, I just wasn't sure if someone was bringing a point up about it or
I
not.
just saw that Jack is
I was
not
taking
here.
care of some logistics.
Okay. Yeah, so it helps that Butter is sitting right next to you and sort of nodding encouragingly every time you look up at her, because Jasper hasn't shown up yet. But then as the charcoal and incense and herbs disappear, Jasper kind of materializes slowly as you're watching the brazier in the center of the brazier, and he looks exactly like he'd never left before.
And like I'm gonna like go in and grab him and like get all the ash off him. I'm like, I'm so glad you're okay.
And he sort of squeaks and cuddles up under your chin. He seems completely unfazed by his adventures.
Well, that's spooky.
I'm turned back. He looks just like he did before.
Oh, it's cool, but it's spooky.
Okay, well. You?
Not like in the scary way, just in the I don't understand way.
It is different.
Jasper's eyes glow blue.
And now, Agate, if I am correct, should you wish to, when you wish to change his form, you may do so by repeating this, even if he has not, for lack of a better word, died. So you could imagine him back as a cat, to any small animal really. A bat, a hawk, an octopus.
So, not a hamster? Or he's not a chipmunk? Yes, he's not.
He is not a hamster.
He's not a chipmunk?
He is a chipmunk now.
Okay. Well,
And were he to be anything else, he would not have his cheek pouches. But it is possible.
I think I'm going to keep him as a chipmunk for now, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Like, really happy to have Jasper back. And
She's sort of grinning, just watching you grin.
Trindek is relieved.
Would you like to look around the shop? Now that you're here.
think that there's anything I need. Trinidad, is there anything that you need?
I don't think so.
Doesn't really know how magic works. Do you have any like really cool magic?
All of it
You
is really cool.
think was
magic.
cool?
Well, he sort of looks around. And then looks at Trendak. There's nothing here that I think would impress one who can eat so many sausages.
Canon.
God damn it.
One sitting.
It's gonna be like your hero title, Trindak.
Oh my god.
Especially since none of these are really very filling morsels.
I give sausage and I taketh away.
What?
Give it.
I give it sausage and taketh away sausage.
Milady's gonna be pissed off. She's gonna be like, who are all these people making and eating sausages that I did not make and did not fetch? But
I don't think eating 15 sausages is that hard.
Are the sausages hard?
They could be.
It depends on your description of hard.
I feel like it depends on skill.
What?
No. We've already established depends on time. The longer it's in, we've already
I'm appreciating your facial expression.
Oh my god.
You walked in at a great time.
Sorry, I had to feed my dog.
Sausages.
Indeed.
Partway through this conversation, Butter just kind of looks at you and is like, perhaps if you come back in a week or so, I will have something that might be of interest to you.
It sounds fun.
You walk out.
Awesome. One
There's
thing
nothing
down.
wrong with sausages, I say as I'm leaving.
Trindak, is there anywhere that you wanted to go? Thanks for coming with me.
Well, sorry, I'm just thinking, is this... I'm trying to remember the order of downtime. So this is after...
So there's 3 big sections, and I'll actually write them down. Part 1. Is there anything you wanted to do,
squirrel.
Sarah, in those
This is after the squirrel thing.
Yes.
In
so
what?
Is there anything you wanted to do before in the other 2 parts of downtime?
I guess, yes, actually. In another part of downtime, what would I, those, like, truth flowers I have?
Mm-hmm.
Into, like, could make people tell the truth?
Yes. What about them?
Is that?
I think I would like to. So I would like to go to find like a chemistry shop or something that I could go to and like, I don't know.
Maybe my memory is faulty. Didn't Jambus ask for that back?
I stole 5.
Oh right,
Yeah.
you stole 5. Yes. Okay. Roll an investigation check.
Okay.
The one thing. Okay. So it takes you maybe about 45 minutes. You realize you can't really find anything of this nature in Gull's Foot and have to go to another place. The poor players, there's so many maps here right now. Hold on. I'm trying to move the players to the big city map. And we'll have to do it in 2 gold leaps. There we go.
Whoa, great.
You can delete maps that are also.
I just don't know which maps I get to delete. If that makes sense. So, because some of them are yours, some of them are Ryan's, some of them are Emily's. And so I absolutely could delete them or try to consolidate them in some way. But for right now, we don't need that. If people wanted to label and name the maps they were using, that would be cool. So Gull's Foot is here. And then in this district, which, who wants to name it?
Which district?
This purple district that is of a slightly higher quality than all the red districts.
I'll think of something.
Okay, cool. So you get to this district, shop around, and find a chemist. And this is a relatively thin and sort of tall furball with a bald head, and he sort of looks at you and says, "Good morning."
Morning. Do you know like chemistry things? I mean, I assume it said so on the outside of your shop.
Yes, that is exactly what I do. How can I help you? Would you like to buy a wart remover or hair powder or hair dye? I have tooth powder.
Well, I have these really cool flowers that I think make people a little more forthcoming, and I would like to take what they can do, put it into something I can reuse.
I see. He looks kind of skeptical. Why don't you show me these flowers?
Cut them out of the side of my robes, like undo the pocket and show him the flowers.
And as he looks at them, his eyes kind of go wide, and he says, "Where did you get these?"
I was edge of town one day and I fell in them, and then I told my friend everything that happened to me the day before, so I figured they were special.
I have to roll for this. Because you do feel compelled to tell the truth. So, what would it be for willpower? Like, roll me a wisdom save.
Wisdom.
A wisdom save.
Okay. And he says, I see. Well, sorry, rolling a thing. He says, may I pick these up? Did you hand him all of them?
No, I will hand him one very carefully.
Okay, so were they all in the same pocket?
Same pocket, but they were like in a pocket inside my thing, and so like I just cut the pocket open and took them out. Off.
Okay. So did he see that there are only, how many flowers is he aware of at this point? I kind of missed that part.
Yeah.
So there are 5 flowers. I'm gonna, for the purposes of this, I'm gonna take out
3. Okay. He sort of picks them up gently. Do you have any more of these?
I have 2 more. I have 5 of them.
May I see those as well?
I'm gonna learn from the other 2 that you can't from the ones that I already gave you.
In some cases, I am required. Actually, let me make a wisdom save for him too. Do.
This is when Agate shanks a stopkeeper.
It's not that I cannot find out. It is that it is easier to find out in large quantities.
I think that 5 is all that larger than 3. I can go somewhere else.
He is much taller than you are. And sort of straightens up and says, "You could, except that you are unlikely to find anyone quite as understanding as I am going to be.
Okay.
So I would request." Is Trindak there?
No one's there.
No, this is
Yeah,
like
just me.
Okay. But okay. So I would request that you hand over the rest.
What object could you make for me with these 2?
Many things can be made from these. It is difficult to say exactly simply because while the thing they are most used for is highly illegal, how do you do GM rolls? Wait, I have a D20 here. Well, the thing they are used for is highly illegal. There are slightly more, shall we say, less problematic uses. But essentially, a child like you should not have access to these.
He's trying to steal your shit.
I know. I mean...
Woo! Woo!
What?
Pigeon.
Yeah.
Got a bitch!
I don't think that's up for you to decide. I don't think that you're willing to help me. I would like if you would give me my flowers back.
He reaches out to the bell that you had not at this point noticed and picks it up and rings it very loudly.
I am going to use thaumaturgy really quick to make a crash sound in the street outside, and I'm going to blast him with an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Shoot. Roll, just I guess for the purposes so we can see how much of the sound of the bell, like your reaction time essentially for how soon he starts ringing the bell.
Okay, because I'm making like a loud disturbance outside.
Yeah.
What do you want me to roll for my reaction time?
Just a dexterity check.
Fuck.
Oh, there we go. Is your save more than your check?
Oh, let me check. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
It can't be.
Check.
Unless she has proficiency in it. Which she can't.
You don't get as a warlock, and that with that mod, it's going to be the same thing.
Regardless, people should learn how to use the character sheets. Okay, so we'll say it's 5 just for the sake of.
Yeah.
Okay. So thaumaturgy starts and the sound of a crash is outside. Roll to hit for the Eldritch Blast. I'm so glad you are not at level 5 yet at this point. That does hit. Roll for damage.
Expect me to attack him.
He did steal your stuff.
He stumbles backward and says, You can't have these. But, like, wait. You can't have these.
Well, I'm going to... They're already mine, and I need them back. And I'm going to shoot an Eldritch Blast in the corner of the store to try to distract him, and I'm going to send Jasper up to try to grab it out of his hands.
Okay. Roll a... I guess would that be a sleight of hand check? Or deception check? Or fainting check? Roll me a thing.
We're gonna go with deception.
Okay. He is unfazed and looks straight at you.
Flowers,
And
Baxter.
he still has the bell in his hand, and the flowers are clutched to his chest, and he's clanging that bell as hard as he can. And
Okay. Can I make one more grab to try to
as you
grab
do
the
that,
flowers out of his hand?
as you do that, a guard bursts into the room and says, "Halt! Hands where I can see them." He is carrying a javelin. And what's the disturbance? And he looks straight at the shopkeeper. And the shopkeeper goes, "This child has veer flowers." And then attacked me. And
Steal my stuff.
the tranquil guard backs out. Holy crap, why did this happen now before all the downtime? The tranquil guard backs out and shouts, "Help! Reinforcements!"
He tried to steal my stuff. All right, well, I'm gonna jump out a window and run away.
Okay, right.
Mask of many faces.
Outside.
And so do a dexterity check to get past the guard. And then
Okay.
okay.
There's no dexterity check. There's only
Except
a dexterity.
you just have to.
If you click on the word dexterity in the ability box, it does that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
I didn't
okay.
know.
I frequently forget it, so it's fine. There we go. Regardless, he grabs your arm and says, "Not so fast." And what would you like to do next?
If he's trying to grab her, he should have to make
you're
an
right.
attack.
You are right. Thank you, Jack.
Although it is against a natural one, so...
But presumably that was just to avoid the opportunity attack.
That's fair. I was more thinking that, there's this one tiny window that's over a ton of shelves, which I should have said before, and there's the counter, and then there's the door that the guard came through, so which would you like to go for, I guess?
Okay, there's
and regardless, we'll just re-roll what you did, because that was not clear.
So I'm going to a tiny window.
Okay. Acrobatics.
Guys, I'm gonna get arrested.
It's okay, you're a kid, it won't go on your birthday.
Okay, you managed to scramble out of the window, and
This is why you should have approached the creepy gnome.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'm out of the window, and as soon as I get out, mask of many faces.
okay,
70-year-old man.
all right. And are you running? Are you walking? Are you
I am hobbling.
okay? Just roll deception with advantage, I believe.
One good roll.
Eh. Okay, good. I really didn't want to have to deal with the retconning the repercussions of that.
It's like, wow, we had a whole adventure where we had to break Agate out of prison.
Did you guys suddenly remember that?
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Agate has a bunch
Vitally
of
important
tattoos
question.
now. And...
Vitally important question, actually. I'm not. Vitally important question. What section of downtime does this happen during? Because I need to know if this happens
Part 1.
before. Okay, so this does happen before Nyx warns Aranth to watch out for Agate. Okay, I just needed to make sure.
Yes.
I don't think Agate's going to tell anyone this happened.
this is
Agate's not
part
going to
one.
need to. She got spotted by the guard. Nyx is going to find out somehow.
Yep.
I mean, it's one guard. Like, yeah. She may still kill him. Who knows?
So this is happening between the pirates and the Titan.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And we are never doing this type of thing again. This is terrifying.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not. No, it's not your fault, Agate. Sarah, it's not your fault. It's the fault of people like me who think they should get to have vacations. Because this is why this is happening.
Next time you just have to stab him.
I know.
So you managed to get away. You heard what you heard him say. And you still have 2 flowers.
Cool.
And now people know that there's flowers in the city. Which still have to be retconned, but less bad than breaking you out of prison.
What's the name of the flowers? Because I learned that from this interaction.
Yes. They are called veer flowers.
I like that name.
It's a
Thank you.
cool name.
Cool.
That
And
etymology.
It's like Captain Marvel.
I've realized at this point that not only are these dangerous, but super illegal. So I am going to sew them back in my robes, never show anyone again, and head home.
Great. Anything in part
gotta-
2?
Nope.
Okay. We'll say that's when you completed learning how to read. And cool, we're done. What would... After that, it's a free-for-all. Who wants to do what?
I think that's everything Agate wanted to do with downtime.
Okay. So you're good to go. And then...
The people who have to go to bed earliest should go first.
Accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is that? So then, Derek, do you know when you're leaving for the train? Okay, do we want to just do
Derek,
the...
you're muted.
We can't hear you.
About 9 o'clock, so I've got an hour.
Do we want to do his first?
Well, Derek, if you want, you can go talk to Jambus for part 0. Because you weren't at the very, very first downtime that we had.
Yeah, I guess that works.
And then, Jack, I'm not quite sure what you wanted to do. Just because most
I
of
should
it...
go later because I can stay up later, but
Okay.
I
I mean, my bedtime is also relatively early, so if I'm DMing it, if you just need someone to roleplay, I'm completely comfortable with someone else handling that roleplay. But
the only things I need to know were the stuff I sent you. So I was trying to get a protective magic enchantment on an amulet for Agate, and
Yes.
I was trying to go talk to the co-op people.
right.
And anything else would just be trying to sell spells.
Okay, so we can definitely do spell spelling and the amulet once we get
Spell spelling.
spell spelling. Cell spelling. I don't know how to. I don't know what I'm
It's
saying.
fine. We know what you mean.
But
Spell seller.
so spell selling should be okay to just do quickly because now I have the really fast system that I thought up, and then. But just to be clear, I also do have a relatively early bedtime. So,
Okay.
who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Emily, what do you want to do?
I would like to. I don't really have a plan for the first 2 downtimes, but for that last week and a half, I would like to look into the next room.
Hi. How's it going?
Hey.
Maria, do you want me to do this, or do you want to do this?
You totally get to do this. I do know Serenixia wanted to do something similar, so if
That
they
was
coordinated...
going to be my primary question.
Yep.
Are the two of you working together in this?
Sternexia? Would Sternexia?
I would certainly be open to working with Arenta for this sort of thing.
I would, but I think it would be more like telling each other what we found out. I was planning on doing sneaky.
Very well.
So I don't know.
Okay.
If it's the same
Also, Emily, I can barely hear you. I don't know if that's me or you.
It's because they changed headphones.
I'm sorry. Okay, so let's do Derek first because he has to leave first. So, Derek,
I mean,
what are you doing to find out about Nictobolts?
yeah, I hadn't really planned very well ahead for this.
You want to start with Emily instead so that you get
Yeah.
a little bit... Okay, we'll do that then. Emily, what are you doing?
Okay. I would like to return stealthily to the tunnels. Because my goal is to find out if the Nectocrassus has, like, a base. So I would like to try and find members of it and follow them.
Okay.
And I would like to try very hard for Nyx not to find me while I'm doing it. So
Okay.
look out for him the whole
No, it will. So, okay.
I'd like to remind you that this is after the encounter in the alley, and she's very paranoid now.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so do me a favor. First things first, roll me a perception. Okay, follow that up with a stealth check.
Come on.
Hey.
Definitely need to double check the stats of the individual. Math. Okay. Okay. So, you stay, are you? Is it your intention to stake out the tunnel, or are you just kind of wandering around trying to find members of the Nicholas?
I was going to find like a place to hole up in the tunnel for like a day and just sit there and wait.
Oh, actually, in the tunnel. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So, you make your way into the tunnel. And in that case, go ahead and make me a survival check, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
Oh, okay.
You die.
No, you don't die.
I don't survive.
How much? So how far into the tunnel are you willing to go?
Pretty far.
Okay.
She was gonna like take a piece of paper and a pencil and try and like plot her route because she's been down there with Jombus, but
okay. So you make your way down into the tunnels, and interestingly, you're looking for kind of you're looking, I take it, for some side chamber or some place where you can just kind of hide from people who might be using.
a nook in the cave wall.
So that's the interesting thing. That's the first interesting thing that you notice is that there really aren't a whole lot of them. You're not entirely sure what these passageways were used for, but whatever it is, it's not. Put it this way: this isn't the kind of like hallways that look like they were purposefully carved for use as like tunnels. Like they probably had some sort of alternate use. Maybe it was a sewage system that was never completed. Maybe it was something else. You're not entirely. But you make your way through the tunnels, and after about an hour of wandering through them, you find what might be your best bet. It looks like another branch off of a tunnel, but the edge of it is caved in. And you figure that's probably going to be about the best you're going to do here.
Okay. I will go in there and spend the whole day.
Okay. You spend the entire day. Do me a favor. Evens or odds?
Evens.
11, sorry. You spend the whole day in there, and you unfortunately don't see or hear anyone using that particular tunnel that you've used.
Okay.
You do have like 3 more days. Or
Yeah.
2 more days or something. So.
Can I find anywhere that's closer to the entrance? Like in that little...
Well, that's the first thing we need to sort out, because as you try to make your way back out of the tunnels, that's unfortunately when you discover that you are hopelessly lost.
Fine. Cool.
I hope everyone fails at their endeavors. That'd be funny.
This is that high wisdom, low intelligence.
Yeah.
Survival is a wisdom skill!
I know, and I sucked at it!
Luck of the day.
Yes.
I never got to
So
go to
I'm
Boy
just-
Scout camp.
I'm gonna try and follow my track back.
Yeah, unfortunately with that survival...
Okay.
It's because that's the other thing too. You didn't really leave tracks here because it's all stone, and you're
And you
not.
were stealthy.
And you were stealthy. You had a 19 stealth check. You were quiet. No one heard you or saw you, including you, unfortunately. So,
Let's see what I
More
have.
stealthy
I have
than
proficiency
Vax.
with brewing supplies.
so here's what
I
we're
could
gonna
get
do
locked
now.
up by the guard, Arentha dies underground.
No. Hold on. Here's what we're gonna do right now.
I
Arentha,
become
are you
adopted
at this
into
point
a cult and
gonna-
sacrificed.
Hold on. At this point, Arentha, is it your plan to just wander around the tunnels until you eventually find a way out?
I mean, that's kind of what I got right now. I have to say.
Okay, so here we go.
I can't cast spells.
Here we go.
I can slow fall.
I'm gonna give you the following.
Okay.
1, give me a number between 1 and 100.
Oh,
2,
Jesus.
evens or odds.
Oh boy.
51. Even.
Solid. Okay. So, here's how this is gonna work.
Okay.
The D20 is the evens or odds.
Okay.
If it's the one you pick, you get out of the tunnel pretty quickly. If it's the one you don't, it takes you a while. Percentile dice.
Okay.
If it's under 51, you meet someone or something else in the tunnel before you can get out. If it's over 51, you make it out. So,
I
first
picked a
evens
good
or odds.
number. Okay. I said evens. Let's take it with evens. Come on.
14. So it's not going to take you that long.
Nice.
Second thing second.
This is tense.
Okay.
72.
Yeah!
By sheer luck, you
Drunkard's luck.
happen to make the complete right series of turns and it doesn't take you longer than about 20 or 30 minutes to make your way back out to the surface. Now, you do not come out at the same access point you came in.
Interesting. Where do I come out?
You come out, let's leave that up to chance, shall we? So the original, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Maria, but the original passage that they took was in Gullsfoot?
No,
No,
it was
it's in
in
the
Kama.
comma. It's right here.
Okay, it was in the coma. You come out all the way over here in the sludge.
That's how you got out, the smell.
Actually, kind of. You started smelling something that wasn't. You started smelling something effectively that wasn't just the cold rock of stone, and that you just followed your nose, and that's how you got out.
It smells sludgy.
It's the snoot.
It's the
It's your
snoot.
sense of direction.
I get the snoot.
Okay, so that's day one. Is there anything else you're gonna try to do?
I'm gonna stake out the entrance above ground on
Okay.
day 2.
Perception and stealth again, please.
From a rooftop with a
Yep.
dark...
Perception and stealth.
Nope, sorry.
Solid rolls. Okay. Hold on. Yep. Okay. So, you find a suitable vantage point on the roof, and you're looking at it for a little bit, and it's been about 2 or 3 hours before you do, in fact, notice a figure, all in black, does come out of the gate. Coming out of it, not going into it. This figure steps out, looks around, turns, closes the gate behind her, and proceeds to just kind of walk forward into the crowd.
I'm gonna wait for someone to go in.
Okay.
The longer until they go in.
You're waiting there for I'd say probably another 4 hours at this point. You're getting a little tired, getting a little hungry. You know, you're starting to be a little annoyed at this is the best.
I'm eating some pocket sausage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you pocket sausage, that's fine. And it's at that point that you do actually notice another figure. Not the same one, but another person. This one not dressed in black. This one dressed in what looks like just completely normal street clothes. Appears to be human, male. Kind of got light orangish hair. Walks up, looks around casually, opens the gate, and slips right in.
Okay, I'm gonna wait like 30 seconds and then climb on down. And then I'm gonna follow him in.
Okay. Survival stealth.
God damn it.
Not bad. Okay. So, let me just real quickly. Okay. You get in there, and you can hear the footsteps for about maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes, and then you don't hear them.
Do I see footprints?
Unfortunately, with that survival check, given that this is just bare stone, no, you don't.
Is there like a certain direction they were heading?
Unfortunately, you couldn't see enough into the tunnel when you were outside to get more than just they went in.
Ugh. nearby. Okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. Alright. That. And then. Oh, okay.
I
So.
don't like that sound.
So, you carry on. It's difficult to keep track of time out here because you don't have the keen mind feat, and you're underground. You have no real. Oh, actually, that's another thing. You have no source of light down here. You're a human. How's that working out for you? I forgot that was a thing.
And my
But that's
sound
a
died.
very important thing. Light here.
I gotta have.
Okay.
I can't do this without light.
Okay. So you light up the torch. I'm going to say that is going to completely negate your stealth check.
Could it be with disadvantage so I have the 17 instead of the
No.
20?
You have a bright light going on in a very dark tunnel. Anyone if anyone's close to you, they're gonna see you.
You
I
didn't
mean, I
buy a
suppose
thieves'
if you were
lantern.
finding a quiet place, and then you could turn off the light.
But again,
Maybe.
so are you just wandering around, or are you trying to do the same thing you did yesterday?
I'm trying to continue in the direction that I was following that guy in.
Okay, so
See
here's
if
what
I
happens.
can stumble
Here's what
upon.
happens. Because I have the rules. Here's what happens.
Okay.
You continue in what you think is the general direction that that person was moving in, and I'm assuming you're being about as careful and cautious as you can be. Hard, right?
Can you repeat that?
Go ahead and make another perception for me if you wouldn't mind.
Gosh.
Okay. So you continue moving through the tunnels, and suddenly you become aware you're not alone. There's the sound, a very quiet sound, but you can hear it of just soft footsteps.
Can I, like, peek behind me? So
You look behind you. You don't see anything, but in this particular area, the passage kind of twists and bends, so that's not entirely surprising.
is there a little cubby I could shift into?
Unfortunately, in this particular, actually, you know what? We'll leave that up to chance. No, unfortunately, in this particular
Okay.
area,
Maybe around one of the bends.
you could hide around a bend, but the light is still there.
Can I drop the light on the floor and run around the bend?
Okay, so drop the torch, move around the bend, kind of push yourself back against the wall, and listen. The footsteps come closer, and then they stop at the torch.
Okay. Do I see them or are they hidden from me?
You're around the bend right now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm still gonna wait.
For a few seconds, there's silence. Then you hear the sound of the torch being picked up off the ground. Then there's a... and the light goes out.
Okay.
And you hear the sound of the footsteps again. Noticeably not trying to be stealthy now.
Great.
As they slowly come ever closer towards you.
This seems like a melodramatic person. I have my... I'm just holding my short sword, waiting for someone to be within range.
The footsteps come closer, And they come closer, and then they stop. And you hear a voice in the darkness. All right. Who the hell are you here?
Turn back?
Is that what you say?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I was summoned here for a job and I got lost in the tunnels.
Deception check.
Kind of new. I'm not.
Oh.
That sucks. He rolled an 8.
Ah!
That sucks.
Oh.
There's sort of a snort, and I'm going to need for you to make for me a strength saving throw, please.
Oh. Oh.
Well, it still could fail. Not that fact. This fact. But it doesn't.
Cool. Hi, guys.
You hear sort of a sound, and then, without you even hearing it, your short sword is knocked clean out of your hand by something. You didn't see what it was. You can't see anything right now, but your short sword is gone.
Okay. I, get out my dagger and swipe at it with my dagger.
Make an attack with disadvantage. Empty air.
Okay, I'm gonna use the key point to Step of the Wind, run back in the other.
Okay.
Also, I have movement, but.
So you're Step of the Winding this?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and move.
Are you disengaging or are you dashing?
I am dashing.
Okay. Prior to this, I am going to need for you to make me either an athletics or acrobatics check. Your choice. Nice. Okay. Hold on.
No! You rolled a natural 20!
I'm taking a picture of this. I'm taking a picture of this. And I'm posting it to the group chat. Because I need you to be aware that I'm not making this shit up. This really happened. Hold on.
This is what sadness is.
She's not dead yet. She will be, but she's not dead yet.
The thing I don't need is to be interrogated.
Okay, it's struggling really hard, but that was a natural 20, and I have the picture.
I believe
Figure out why it's being stupid. Anyway, you go to jump back, and immediately you just feel these two arms come out of nowhere and just wrap around you, and you hear, "None of that, lass. We're not going to be having any of that here. Just want to talk. That's it."
I say, I'm mute, and I try and elbow him in the face.
Okay, make the attack.
Say that you're mute.
I'm mute. I'm also deaf. I don't know what you've been
Roll
saying.
damage. It's unarmed strike. 5. You hit him right in the nose. He felt that, but he's not.
Ah. Is it his turn? Can I try to break free?
It is now his turn because unfortunately you can't use a bonus action. Or wait. No, you can attempt to escape. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for bonus action monkey. So
yeah, because my unarmed strike is my bonus action since I don't have my short sword anymore.
you can still use the. Well, no, you can still make another unarmed strike as a. You just can't escape the grapple as a bonus action.
Because you could flurry, right?
Yeah, but I can only flurry and do if I'm not grappling with my drunk attack.
Well, you could still flurry to get the 2 extra attacks, but your speed is currently 0 until you break.
I just have this thing where if I flurry, I can automatically disengage. but I can't do
But
that
your speed is
because
currently 0, so
Yes.
you couldn't.
Yeah, so I'll just take it this way.
Okay, that all. No, that does not hit.
Cool.
And for this time, he throws his shoulder up into it. Your elbow catches the shoulder, but it doesn't seem to really do any damage to him. Are you flurrying, or is that your turn?
No, I'm not flurrying.
Okay. His turn. You suddenly feel cold steel right into your.
Ugh.
He's not attacking you with it, but he's just holding it there and says, "All right, try playing nice. Now I'm going to get a little. You got exactly one chance. Stop fighting."
Fuck him up.
That's
Can
his turn.
I, insight check him?
What do you want to insight check him?
That's a fair.
Well, no,
I don't know.
I'll give it to you if you have a specific thing you want to try to figure out, but you have to have a specific.
I want to know if he really just wants to ask me some questions.
Okay, insight. Yeah, I'll give it to you with an insight check. Yeah. Far as you can tell, it doesn't seem like he's trying to like get you to do anything. It's more just like he's frustrated by the amount of resistance you're showing. You don't really detect any significant malice, just a healthy amount of distrust.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
Stop.
All right, you stop. That's better. Now, maybe we can discuss this a little bit like civilized. You feel the grip relax, and you hear this individual rummaging around, and then you hear torch lights up, and the individual you followed in here, the red-headed human.
Yeah, figures.
So he's actually a virus.
The thing you do notice about him, Marentha, is he does appear, as he lights the torch, he's pulling off of his head a pair of what look like goggles of some kind. You're not sure.
What?
I gotta kill him for the loot.
Just knock him out.
He says, "You can see with this, and we can have a civil conversation. So, first things first, who are you? Second thing second, what are you doing here?"
I am a curious bystander. I saw some people going in and out of this tunnel, and I heard that it might be some, like, haunted or secret system of tunnels that people hadn't been in. I don't know. It seems kind of dumb when I'm saying it out loud, but I just kind of wanted to explore it.
Make a deception check on that
Is
one.
that a lie?
Yes, it is. You know exactly what. Shit. Okay. Just for completeness' sake, not
Can
even
we have that for the record? What was it?
What was that?
What was the roll for the record?
That was his insight check.
No, sorry. I can't see roll 20 at this point because the internet connection is cutting out.
Arentha critted.
Great, thank you.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "Just a curious bystander."
Yeah. Do people
Enough.
normally attack other people in tunnels?
What was that?
Do people normally attack everybody in these tunnels? Is this like a... Are you in like a secret organization?
Alright. Listen, I don't know, whatever you think you've heard, but whatever it is, trust me when I say you don't want to be down here. There's lots of things down here that are worse than me. So why don't I do you a favor? I'll lead you back to a place you can get out, and we'll just forget this happened. All right?
Seems fair. But
Alright.
really, are you in a secret organization?
Yes. It's called the Grave Diggers. We're down here digging out people's graves. You happy? Now come on.
That makes me very happy, actually.
That's
Go on. Do I need to insight check him? Is there really another secret society down here? Or is it just...
You can make an insight check if you want. I'm not going to stop
know
you.
if there's a different secret society.
He is giving you literally so much shit right now, it's not
That's
even
fine.
funny.
Oh,
He's
Fine.
I was
He
so hopeful.
can't deal with you. I'll tell you this as well for free, Arentha, because you're seeing him in the lights. Yes, he's wearing normal street clothes, but his weapons are definitely military grade.
Does he have the little Nectocrassus symbol?
Not that you can see, but again, he's very much wearing street clothes right now. So you don't actually know.
Okay. I'll go with him because I'm 100% sure I could not make it out without being.
Alright? You make your way back. For the sake of expediency, we're going to say you make it back completely unscathed. And he just kind of lets you out. You're actually, this time, you're still in the coma. And he lets you out, and he just says, "Alright, go on now." Turns, goes back in the tunnel, shuts the door, and disappears.
Ah!
I'm sorry, your rolls have just not been helping you.
Fine. I'll just go home and I'll stake out the inn for the next 2 days, but I'm not going to make everybody suffer through that.
Wait, are you staking? Wait, hold on. Important. Are you staking out the entrance again?
No, the inn. Where I met Nyx for the first time. They
Okay.
had a little room there. I don't know if it's one of their meeting spots. I'm just going to stake it out.
Okay. Make me 2 stealth checks, please. 1 for each day. Okay. So both days go by. You don't really notice anything. On day 2, however, you come back to your room, and there's a piece of parchment laying on
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's it say? I wonder who it's from.
You pick it up, and you flip it over, and it just says, "Nice try."
Okay, I would like to go up to my window and throw it open, and very visibly tear the note up and throw it away. And then
Okay,
on a
you do that.
different note, I will write. On a different note, I will write, "Find a less creepy way to contact me," and I will tape it to the inside of my window. So it is facing out.
That's entirely fair. Okay, yes.
And that's my downtime.
That is the most beautiful goddamn thing.
I love it. Amazing.
That was
Well
really
done.
good. Thank you.
I didn't learn shit.
Okay, real quick, I'm sorry that took so long, Derek. But
I
Sarah
re-
Nixia.
I'm realizing I don't think once she's contacted Nyx about that, I think she's gonna let things lie and has more important things to worry about than the Nyctocrassus.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
And the saga of trying to find out more about the shadowy organization comes to an unsatisfying conclusion.
If only they weren't based in a creepy tunnel system with no map.
You don't even,
I'd also
you don't
like to
even
say
know if they're
that-
based in there at this point.
I'd like
You're
to say
rolling-
that every time I have gone into that tunnel, I've tried to make a map, and I have failed at my survival check. Every
It's
time.
almost like an underground series of tunnels used by a super secret organization.
I'm
Aren't
the
the
highest
easiest things to
wisdom
map?
here.
That's really sad. We are a
Actually-
disturbingly low wisdom party.
Actually, fun fact, that's not true. Your and Nyx's wisdom.
I'm mad about that.
A match made in heaven.
Rip.
Actually, wait. What's your wisdom, real quick? I'm curious.
14.
What is it?
14.
Yeah, they're equal.
We have the same dex too.
Yep.
No, my wisdom's 15. Get fucked.
Okay. Yep. You're 1 point higher.
No, I was first.
Yeah, I think that's everything that I was supposed to do. So I'm done.
Okay. Okay, so we've had Agate, we have Orentha, Cyrenixia. What did you want to do? Just because
I
you have to
mean,
leave soon?
I need to have a chat. I think really like the rest of my downtime has been. I basically unsuccessfully hunted for a bunch of. Previously, I was unsuccessfully hunting for a whole bunch of lore from about various topics.
And I know
And
when Jack was running his, you were paying taxes, so that does take.
Sorry.
I don't recall if you ever actually looked for the lore.
There were definitely some checks that I made that were bad, and I'm kind of leaning into that and enjoying it because I don't think she's really a person that would be particularly good at research.
Makes sense.
Who?
Cyrenixia.
Yeah. I just need to have my chat with Jambus that happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
After the mission.
If not longer. Alright, so you can find him. And he sort of looks up as you walk into his office. And...
Sorry, what was that?
He looks up as you walk into his office. And says, Cyrenixia. Hello.
Hello, Jambus. I believe when we were back in the tunnels retrieving that chest for you, you mentioned that you would tell us more later when the job was done.
Did
The job is done now and I appreciate knowing more.
Did I say that?
I believe you did.
You may not want to know.
I want to know.
Roll... Or
You
roll some kind of... I don't know. At this point, he kind of just shakes his head and looks away. Pardon?
You had said more. You did not tell me specific, but you had told me that more information would be provided.
It is a shipment that I would like to keep secret because there are those who would question my usage of it. That is really all you need to know.
And I will, as I have told you previously, we are treading on familiar ground here. But word will not leave my lips what you tell me here.
Okay. But how... That is not a guarantee. You could be caught. You could be tortured by those who are my enemies. Not that I believe I have many.
And so instead I tell that you have some item of such great importance that you cannot tell your own bodyguards to keep you safe.
I could
That
tell
doesn't
them. I choose not to.
You are making a mistake, and
Roll persuasion.
if
Or insight, even. If. Is it
I
Logan?
mean, I do either, both.
Well, I mean, persuasion to persuade him, but
Insight to
you get
yeah.
the sense that there's something that's missing from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I
You might-
believe at this point he's known you for maybe 2 weeks.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So he...
Good and consistent.
Yeah. seems like someone's word is not good enough for him. It doesn't
What
really
would
matter.
you- Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you require of me?
An oath.
You would
A
an
spell.
oath? My word is an oath. It is never broken. If there is a spell that you have, that you know of, I would be happy to do
He
such things.
sort of looks at you and says, even a charlatan can say that their word is an oath. What assurance do I have? Because really, to me, you are just a mercenary that took a coin.
Have you heard of the Knights of Argentax? They're not the most unknown people.
High praise.
They're not the most unknown people. His face sort of eases, and he says, yes. But you do not look like one who would be of their membership. And he kind of looks pointedly at the red.
Looks... What did you say?
Pointedly at the red.
Wow. Racist.
Says Jamra, who doesn't notice the help. He did roll a natural 20 on his history, so he knows the Knights of Argentax.
Yeah. Well, you may... Unusual. I admit. And... I have left them.
Which...
For the reasons you see here. Just hold up a little bit of fire dancing across my fingers.
Uh-huh. Sorry, I'm trying to close this and it's not working.
Yeah.
The fact that you left them creates no assurance within me that you are still feel required to stick to their tenets. If you were fully a silver dragon
I can show you my papers. If they thought that I was a danger, if they thought I would not continue to follow their codes, and I would cause harm, I would not have been allowed to leave. They do not tolerate danger, evil, failure kindly.
He nods and stands up
And
from behind his desk.
While I may have left them, I maintain the oaths that I took.
Roll persuasion with advantage. Oh, Garrick.
See, my problem is I really want to blow up and attack him, but also, when is this
Don't
happening?
get to do that. It depends.
Exactly.
I will let you think about that for a second, and I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Wow, that
I'm
would
sorry.
like completely like justify everything he thought about you, though.
It would, but
Yeah.
that's not really the...
Oh, I know. It's just.
And I want... This is
I
why
love the meta that Jamis is totally right.
I wanted to do this when it happened, so that I could maybe do this, and now it doesn't quite as well.
Am I the only person who thinks that we are currently discovering Serenity next year?
We're discovering what? We're discovering Serenixia's what?
Upcoming aspects.
Ah.
I look forward to seeing him.
I have an aspect question. Does
Okay.
the aspect have to be connected to the tree?
initially had it that way, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think that's overly limiting.
Define trait.
The talent
tree.
tree.
Oh no,
The fate
aspects.
path.
That's the fun thing about aspects is that they're entirely kind of roleplay based. So
that's how I'd experienced them before, but I didn't know if we were.
Yeah, roleplay based.
Alright, did you decide when this is happening? Because in my mind it was way before any of the downtime whatsoever.
I know. It was supposed to be happening immediately after, like, the chat, but it makes things difficult.
Okay. So he stands up and looks at you, and then sits back down and says, "Please, take a seat, Cyrenixia."
Very well.
And he sort of staples his fingers and looks at you and says,
Steeple?
like this.
No, I think you said. I thought I heard you say staple.
Staple.
I said steeple.
Like it.
He staples his fingers.
I'm done with
Nothing I say works. I started the sausages. Now Jambus is not going to have any manual dexterity whatsoever.
it's fine. Words
are hard. And I speak 3 languages, so I guess it's okay, or than it would be otherwise. He looks at you and says, "Have you ever heard of Veer flowers?" And roll an Arcana check for me, if you will.
Have I heard?
Yes. So having, I didn't notice that the Arcana check popped up, that's why. The Arcana check is enough to tell you that yes, Veer flowers essentially compel people to tell the truth, and when exposed to a particularly strong whiff of it, or even just being around them, you don't even necessarily have to have a sense of smell. It can also lead to logorrhea, which is essentially just talking a lot about anything that's on your mind. Me! So, as you tell him this, he nods and says, "Exactly. But what... They are used to make a particularly powerful truth serum, as the flowers can lose their potency over time."
Use a what? Sorry, I didn't.
You're cutting in and out a lot.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just going to exit roll 20 for the sake of that thing. Speech. So for the sake of speech, I'm out of roll 20. The flowers are used to make a particularly powerful truth serum, as when left in their natural state too long, the flowers can lose their potency. And most people believe that this is the only use for them. But in the process of creating the truth serum, my family has discovered that they can also be used for, how shall I say, or no, the byproduct from the truth serum, particularly the bit that leads to the calming of the nerves and to a lack of inhibition can also be used to help plants grow faster. And so I purchased a chest of these flowers and have been working on distilling the truth serum. But since it would be much too dangerous to try and sell it, and since somehow I managed to get it past the Nyctocoracis, I really just want to use it in order to help my plants grow. And I am slowly trying to figure out how to rid myself of the truth serum, as it is difficult to dispose of, and he looks kind of frustrated at this point.
There's a 17 insight. That,
Okay.
Like, if it's true, that's great, but that could very well.
It's true.
Okay.
He basically looks frustrated. It is difficult to get rid of the truth serum without feeding it to someone. And since feeding it to someone seems quite immoral, and since I can't set fire to it, the fumes are so poisonous as to, well, he sort of revises. Essentially, what he distills it down to is the fumes created by setting the truth serum on fire are powerful enough and in a strong enough rush that it creates a kind of mental imbalance.
Yep.
So, not helpful to set it on fire, can't really do anything else with it once it's distilled except use it on someone. And so essentially he is keeping it under lock and key, and then the byproduct is being used on his plants and helps them grow faster.
How long do the effects of these truth serum last?
About an hour.
Is there some harm in taking it to remove it? Just drinking it when you're, perhaps before you sleep? And the effects are worn off, there's no harm to anyone.
I think the difficulty is finding someone you trust enough to watch over you as you sleep or right after you've taken it.
You cutting in and out again.
I believe that the dangers are more in finding someone that one trusts enough to watch one while one sleeps. And one is still under the effect, because unfortunately, some of us speak in our dreams, and many of us have secrets we would rather not be known. Can't hear whoever said that.
That was people in my house.
Okay.
I have to go in about 5 minutes.
Okay. But yeah.
Let me drink it.
He looks at you and says, "You would be willing to do this?"
I see no harm in it. I know of what few secrets I have are of little danger. I know of fewer people still that would be interested in.
He sort of nods and says, "If you are willing to do this, you would also have to be willing to allow me in the room with you, as now you know this secret, and I cannot risk it escaping."
That is fine.
Very well. So he takes you into this small little cupboard room that has maybe about let me roll a die to figure this out. Oh God. It has about 80 vials And he seems to be distilling more. And as you look around, he says, well, unfortunately, the growth abilities of the byproduct far outweigh the number of vials I must create. Are you willing to spend the next bout of your time in this room being exposed to being very truthful?
I see no harm in it.
Very well. I must ask you to swear on the oath of the Knights of Argentax that you will not reveal this to anyone.
I will do so.
All right. And the rest of your downtime is spent in this tiny room under the effects of the truth serum, staring at
He's
Jampist Arthur.
more, isn't he?
Yup.
Do I know actually before, how much of this is, what is the rate of this production?
So, I'm just kind of speaking my voice because it's really...
Yeah.
With the flowers that he had, and I can't remember exactly what I told Sarah when she was looking at them, but with the flowers that he had, he basically was able to make a batch roughly about... so the size of it was maybe 100, and he's been slowly going through the truth serum on his own. He doesn't really plan on purchasing more anytime soon because of the nyctocrisis.
Okay.
But he basically said to you that if he could find someone to go out and pick more flowers for him, that would be great.
Okay.
Got a veritable gold mine on his hands that he's not taking advantage of right now. Frustrating the nyctocrisis in me.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, I should go.
So, I
Alright.
guess he can't find anyone to buy it.
I don't know why, because I know someone who'd be really interested in purchasing this.
I mean, so many people would be.
Everybody would be.
But maybe that's his problem. Also, is that like, there's such high, might be such high demand that like, telling people that you have a lot of it would be like putting a price on your head.
Shrug.
Just the way that guy responded. Which we need to, at some point, be able to find out what the laws of Guevira actually are.
I need to work on that. Basically, we just need to have a pseudo session that I have to have something ready by that isn't a session, so that I can put things up on the wiki.
That seems like a good idea.
I just need an extranal deadline, which is mildly frustrating.
Sarah, I can't hear you if you're speaking. Oh, you're on the phone. Sorry. Who's up next?
Whoever likes to. I know you wanted to do stuff, Jack. I have details on the fire agate that you want to find.
Well, so
But
here's the thing. Like,
yeah.
what he's trying to do is hire someone to perform a protective enchantment on it, or effectively buy one and a protective amulet and customize it to be nice and pretty. But I don't like, if he couldn't find anyone willing to sell him that sort of thing. I don't think that it's the sort of thing where he would be going and like trying to go on a mission to find something like that, because that would sort of defeat the purpose of the exercise.
Okay, so basically, I talked to Derek about this just because he D&D the past 10 years. I will never care that much. I care a lot, but never enough to like spend all my free time on it. And basically what we came up with is, I wrote stories as a kid, like the formative years that you all were doing Dungeons and Dragons and Magic and the Gathering and stuff. I was coming up with weird bickering characters and refining novels, so I love D&D for the social aspect, but I can't spend all my downtime, free time, looking through stuff, despite the fact that I love it. So I talked to him, and basically, if I'm understanding correctly, you want to put Agonizing Blast in an amulet.
Well, In story, no, I didn't want to do that. In story,
Okay.
what I wanted to do was get a protective.
Right.
I told you the reason why it might end up like that. But if that's something that doesn't make
Okay.
sense,
So what you're looking for is a protective amulet, and then things happen
yeah, essentially,
due
I
to
think
your
I was looking for
influence
a
on it.
periaptive wound closure. But not my influence, but someone else's influence. Do you recall our conversation?
I do recall
I
our
don't want to give
conversation.
anything
I
away.
think I'm just okay. So how about you and I talk about it, because if it does end up, and just like Skype through about it and stuff, so we're doing
Yeah,
it.
we can talk about that later then.
But
Okay.
okay, cool. Because if that ends up being it, then that kind of changes the game. Because I was basing the balance ideas off of what probably would have ended up it being,
Yeah, and
rather than what you were going for. Because I guess that just
why don't we
didn't make all the way
discuss then
through.
in private where we can talk freely?
Okay, awesome. What else did you
Um,
want to do?
the other thing he wanted to do, so during this time, um, he is performing he's getting the new ship repaired.
Okay.
Um, I
So how
I
does
was
that work? Just for
So that's what I was going to ask you was how much that was going to cost. I told you that the damage was primarily to the starboard side and that it hadn't impacted the keel because they only got off one and a
right.
half broadsides. But it was
Okay.
repaired to the one side of the ship.
Okay.
And it was in dry dock, and Jama was looking to see how much that was going to cost.
All right. Awesome. So I just remembered that I do have the Strongholds PDF if I can find it. Strongholds. There we go. So because that way that would be simple. People know it's there. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Oh, do they have vehicle stuff in there?
They have one of the keep options is a pirate ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
wasn't imagining this as something that he would actually be personally traveling on, or
oh yeah, no, I'm
gotcha.
Matt Colville has enough interesting stuff and did enough hard work, and Derek paid enough money that I want to see what he said about it.
Oh, you bought it? I have a copy. I'm sorry.
No, Derek wanted the stuff anyway, so I didn't buy it. He bought it. He got to
Okay.
spend all the money.
This is a very pretty book.
It is. It is a gorgeous book. Okay, so I think.
Pirate ship is on page 21.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the acquiring of it. Repairing a ruin, there we go. So it says half of it and takes 75 days. And then because it's not quite as. I don't know. Because just because I wasn't here for that session, you received this ship, or you received a ship and then switched it around with captured.
The ship.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was somewhat of a. John has justified it to himself as that was like the smart business decision, yada 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 yada. But really, it was. He felt really bad for her. He empathized with her a lot. And also, yeah, I know, horrible. He also felt super skeevy about being on a pirate ship 1 second longer than he needed to be.
Okay. So.
Just rename it, changing literally 2 letters, and you'll be.
So, based on what he's saying here, I would assume that a pirate ship is like a keep level 1, despite the fact that you're not. And then I could look through in the player's handbook to see how much that galley actually ends up costing. I know I came up with a rough sum, I just don't remember where I put it.
Yeah, it's not the sort of thing I would imagine he'd be using as a stronghold.
Oh yeah, I get that.
That
It's
has
just
like other
it's still a thing that needs to be
abilities
fixed.
and things that I don't think he would have yet. And I think he will try to build a stronghold, but it will probably be like it was an establishment or something rather
Right.
than like a ship.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
imagining this is an asset.
So here is what I'm saying, on just to walk you through my thought process.
Okay.
So, in strongholds and followers, under acquiring a stronghold, it says a keep requires 10,000 gold, a tower, a temple, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we look at the cheapest, which is an establishment in 40 and 90 days, and then look at the part where they're restoring ruin, and just consider a destroyed-ish pirate ship to be a quote-unquote ruin, that becomes half of, say, 3,000 just because, and it would take about 45 days to fix it. That's the lowest level I can
Okay.
see right here. I need to look more deeply into. Okay. And
Okay. So
just
when
to say,
repaired, would it grant then the effects of a stronghold?
so I don't. I then compared to the player's handbook just to sort of keep going, and a galley, keelboat, longship, rowboat, except for a rowboat. I don't think this would be a keelboat just because, well, I don't know what any of these things are. I feel like
No, this
a
isn't a
warship would be
ship.
closer to what a pirate ship is, and those are all like 10,000 gold and above. So,
Yeah. Which is why he's not going to sell it.
right.
Which is
So,
why Jack is not going to have it be sold. Because that would be crazy. I would imagine it would be most likely to be a galley, if I was going to say it was
right.
anything.
So my just heading back to
Or a
page
sailing
21.
ship.
I'm sorry everyone that you get to see me trying to figure this out live. Where's the pirate ship? I lost it. You said it was page 21? There we go.
Of the two, it's probably the sailing ship rather than the galley.
Right.
Because that's significantly smaller, and also, for the open ocean.
Okay, so it
Given
functions
this
as a
merchant
keep.
vessel.
So repairing it, I'd say, would be like 5,000 gold and 75 days. Because it functions
Okay,
as a
repairing
keep.
it would cost how much?
Pardon?
Repairing it would cost how much? You're cutting out.
I'm going to say 5,000.
Okay. I have a question for you then.
Yes.
When since it would function as a keep, when he eventually goes for like actually building an establishment as a building, can we just essentially transfer the stored? This is clearly then going to be something he's going to be putting time into over a long time,
Right.
where he's putting money into it and developing that, et cetera, et cetera. And then that will just be the repair process. It's just going to be however long it's going to take him to build up the capital to do that. So when that happens, can we say at that point that it's going to represent not so much the ship itself, but the company he is building?
I think. Okay, wait. So, essentially, if I'm understanding what you're asking is, Jamra's putting a lot of time and money into this. Can this represent the company he's building?
Rather than the specific asset that company holds. Do you see what I mean?
I think I see what you mean. I think I need to read more into how Matt Colville is conceiving of keeps, because keeps give you certain benefits. If what you're thinking of doing with that company ends up aligning relatively well with it, I see no problem with it. I just don't feel like now that I understand what I'm not fully sure what having a keep entails in Matt Colville's rule base, because I've skimmed this but not really read it. And so if what you're thinking of for the company aligns relatively well with what he's thinking of for a keep, I see absolutely no problem with that. Because of course you can keep upgrading it, but I would so far be fine with it. I just don't think you're going to be getting spells and stuff from a pirate ship. So for now, let's say yes. since I'm leaning towards it anyway. And then we'll just, as I'm reading it, we'll keep figuring out exactly how that would work. Because keeps technically give you raising an army, and I don't think that's what you want. But I'll read through the strongholds and followers and figure out based on that. I'm just going to say it's going to be at least 3,000 gold to 5,000 gold to
Okay,
fix the ship
yeah.
up. Which at this
Okay,
point, given
that's
how
why I
much
was
money
saying-
you have, is not a difference.
Yeah. That's why I was saying an establishment, not a keep, because an establishment is sort of a more nebulous, like it's treated as like a business, a tavern,
Yeah, we can do that.
that sort of thing.
We can count
So
it as an
I-
establishment.
Yeah, so is when he finally gets the ship repaired and he can start doing this like this trading enterprise, and maybe then the second level is okay. Now I have a warehouse and I have an office and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But okay,
yeah,
that makes
absolutely.
sense.
We can work
So-
that out.
Okay.
But yeah, I
that
like that
case-
idea. So 3,000 gold and 45
case-
days.
So Jamra is going to start putting money into that as soon as I find out how much the periapt or alternative will cost me. Any extra money is going to go into the ship.
Okay, and then the one thing I would say is because you've got a damaged ship basically in taking in water and having to deal with water damage, we can work out exactly how that would end up working out, but just do be aware that time is of the essence.
Well, it's in dry dock right now.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, then we're good.
Yeah. No, it's
and
not
we-
just like pounding out in the water.
I was like, this makes no sense. Okay, cool. You'd probably have to figure out how to have gotten it onto dry dock, and that would probably end up being some kind of like promises.
The reason we got into dry dock is because if you remember the ship, when we got a ship, it was a full ship. It was a real ship, and then I traded that for the shitty broken ship that they had brought into harbor because
Okay.
I felt bad for her.
I
this is
will go
her
back and
ship.
read and figure out exactly what you're talking about. I remember there was a shipping of just trading of ships. I just don't remember how you managed to get that ship.
We got the ship because we captured the pirate's ship. The pirate ship was a good, decent ship that I, through weakness and kindness, exchanged for a crappy broken ship.
Oh no. Okay, cool. So we
That
figured
crappy
that out.
broken ship is the dock.
Awesome. So we can say you've found a group of people willing to do the work once you start paying them.
Okay.
And did you want to look at lumber companies? Do you want to just figure that out and put it on the wiki, or?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I don't know enough about the lumber situation right now to
Yeah,
deal with that.
we
That
definitely
seems
need
like
to talk about that.
That seems like a thing for when we're actually like going to explore outside the city. I imagine that would be a side quest for him.
Sounds good.
But I think his only thing then would be once he sets all that up, once he talks to people to get the enchantment figured out, he would go and just any remaining time he'd be selling spells, trying to start paying off this massive expense.
Okay, so roll me d6 first, just to see
Okay.
roughly how many days you'll end up having. Okay, 5 days. And then roll. Let me just find Xanathar's again. Okay, and then I think it was charisma checks or persuasion checks.
I think we were doing persuasion last time.
Okay, so
But-
persuasion checks, just say 5 for now.
Okay.
Or no, roll a d4 first. Cool. All right, one persuasion check.
Okay.
This will just be
20.
okay. That's absolutely no problem. I was still going to look up the thing just because it has the nice breakdown of how much you end up getting for the magic item. Okay, so that's one item that's 100% of base price. So I will calculate it. Now I have my nice pretty thing here. Shoot, where is it? Okay, and then for the next day, do just roll me a stealth check really quickly. Or sleight of hand. Basically something that helps ensure that you're not found out. Okay?
16.
That's good. And then I believe we also had... Do you remember how we figured out whether it was level 1 or 2?
I think that you just decided, or you were called. I don't know
Okay.
exactly how you did it.
Okay,
No.
cool. That is cool. All right, and then another D4.
Okay.
Cool. All right, 3 more persuasion checks. 1 more sleight of hand. All right. So I will, and then let's just do that one whole process one more time, and I will calculate it when people aren't waiting on us, and let you know how much that works out to. Okay.
So the last 3 are the...
Awesome. I will write those down in a bit. Or if you want to just take notice of what those persuasion checks are for me and then send them to me, that would be awesome.
Sure.
Just so. So
Just
the
copy it
first
all.
2 days that you're doing this, no problem. You manage to sell your spells. Nothing really goes wrong. And then the last day, that first guard that was around sort of peeks at you and comes up to you and says, "Fine day, isn't it?"
Oh yes, very fine day, very fine day. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. It's it's a little bit hot out though. Did they let you have a break at all?
Yes. Relatively
Oh,
often.
that's good.
It's good
That's
pay.
good.
You seem to be loitering around this marketplace relatively often.
Loitering?
Loitering.
Oh, I like to wander. You see, I came to your beautiful city, and I like to see the sights. It is a splendid place, particularly since it has such varied locations within it.
I see.
Hmm.
And, do you, where are you staying?
Oh, I live in Pemulp.
In Pemulp. Roll a deception check.
Indeed. That's true, don't I?
No, yes you do,
Oh,
sorry. Damn it. Yes you do. I'm still stuck in Gullsfoot. Yes you do. Who
And I
with?
smile at him, knowing that this is the...
Who with?
Oh, with the Jambus Dartur.
I see. Sarah, I'm not sure why you can't hear my audio. Are you sure you're not, accidentally muting it?
Sarah, can you hear Maria's audio?
Wait, Sarah, talk?
She's muted herself on Discord.
Okay.
I muted myself because I was doing other things. I just was
Sorry.
surprised.
I didn't realize you were muted too.
Alright. Now that it seems that
No, I had Columbia to yell at.
I want to.
Yeah, you seemed particularly expressive during that phone call earlier.
I really want to hear about that.
Man. Basically, they told us like a week ago that they want us back like 2 weeks early. And I'm like, great, that's hilarious because my internship ends the day that you want me back. And fuck no, I'm not coming back.
Nice.
And now we're trying to scramble to find an apartment because my friends and I don't have our shit together. And, yeah, it's been good.
Sarah,
Great.
real quick, go into Discord.
What did I do?
Right-click on Maria's name.
User volume
And see
100%.
if there's and see if the box is checked.
The mute button is unchecked. The show on activity feed is unchecked.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll just get out of Discord and get back in Discord.
Okay.
Okay.
Jamra, when did you get 3rd level spells?
When did I get 3rd level spells?
Yeah.
Very recently.
Okay, so we'll make this last one level 3.
Yeah, it would have been just after the end of our last adventure.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to double check. And so Jembus Darthur, you say?
I do.
And what do you do for him?
Hey!
I do many things. I serve as a guard. I perform different tasks around the city. I carry messages. It's anything that a merchant could require.
I see. You have paperwork proving this fact? I
Of
assume.
course,
Mind showing it to me?
I will do so. And with it, I will also present. I'll present my paperwork, which shows like that I am an employee of him and I have the right to do all those things. And I will also present then, along with it, my pedigree statement and use my position of privilege ability.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, nice. That is a good
the
ability.
common folk make every effort to accommodate me and avoid my displeasure.
And let's just see how common he is.
I'd imagine as a market guard.
He is quite common. There was a small chance that he had friends in high places and therefore wasn't quite as enthused about what you were trying to do. But he kind of looks at you and says, I see. And he looks kind of confused that you would be working for a merchant, but sort of nods and says, I apologize. I will...
Of course.
And he sort of looks at you and says, I will, let me... Can you just, for the fun of it, make an intimidation check? Just based on, like,
Sure.
to figure out how he reacts to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Trained in that skill.
I will speak to my colleagues and make sure that you can enjoy this marketplace free of any more disturbances.
Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. And listen, I know that you all work very hard. If you get off your shift sometime, I would love to take you to dinner and hear about the life in the city. It seems like a truly fascinating place. And to have an insider's understanding seems incomparable.
Thank you. I would be happy to do that.
I would be pleased. The pleasure would be entirely my own.
Thank you. And he walks away.
Great.
So,
If he does come back, like at some point, or if I get to do that, I'm basically gonna try. I'll take him to a very nice restaurant in the district, and then just pay for like a really nice meal and just spend the whole evening buttering him up, and like,
nice.
of course, not bribing him in the slightest. But I'm gonna
No,
order
not at
like
all,
the
not at all.
nicest bottle of wine, and like sit him down and just so we establish that we're all friends here.
Yeah, sure. All right, now that I've figured out how to do all the math on here, let's figure out how much you're getting.
Okay.
Hopefully that works. And then plus 1d4 times 2 plus 1d10 times 0.1. And let's see if that works. No, that doesn't. I will do it by hand. But, so, all right. Anything else you wanted to do?
I'm just gonna use all my remaining time to do that stuff.
Okay. Trindek, I believe, was next.
Yep.
Cool.
You said you wanted to go to the Temple of Desna?
Yes, I wanted to see what's going on. What is up with the butterfly tattoo women?
Okay. Are you going alone? Or are you taking it with you?
Don't mind me.
I will ask Arentha to come along.
cult trip.
Yeah.
Sure. As being a part of a cult, I can pick out the good ones.
Nice. Yeah, I also figure, considering you and Agate were the ones who like first came along on this walk, but also I would rather Agate not go to what could potentially be something weird.
Why not? I love that shit.
Boy, everyone's still doing their goddamn best to protect the child who just assaulted a
No one knows that.
I mean,
I
yeah.
Alex does.
I mean, considering I'm probably finding like you guys. I mean, if you want to join me, Agate, that's up to you. I'll let that be the choice.
And find a birthday present for my dad, so I can do that.
I'll go with you to the church.
Okay. This way.
Okay. Jack is the one that needs to do this part.
Hey,
What?
I did.
So you guys head over to the temple, and are you? When do you go?
I think.
Like morning, evening, or night?
Oh, what time? Oh, okay.
Yeah, morning,
Also, just to clarify, I'm doing this during part 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doesn't really matter, but
It matters for
Morning.
like eventual riddance, maybe, but
Yeah,
not really.
part 2 before this world was when I learned about this church. So part 3, time of day, probably afternoon.
Okay.
Is there like a schedule posted outside on the church? Mass 10 a.m.
No, so you will when you head over, it's in a part of town that I imagine I don't think it's in a part of town that you end up walking past these more sedate streets, and it actually and they're quite nice, and you see like there are some homes that are not dissimilar from Jambus's. And then when you see the place that Martin had mentioned as the Temple of Desna, you notice that it's this large sort of sprawling almost manor within the city. It's maybe it takes up probably about half the block on one side, and then a good chunk going back. And it's this. It looks like it was built by at least 7 different architects. But the outside is mostly, but the outside is mostly made of wood, with some lovely brick facades in places, and then white wall in others. It looks chaotic and confusing. But despite all that, sort of when you stand farther back, the mixtures of color and styles are actually very pleasing to the eye. And despite the seeming asymmetry looked at as a whole, you begin to notice that different parts of the design reflect and call out to each other. So it doesn't seem quite so mad as it did at first glance. But the front is this large, almost think like a hobbit hole of a doorway, and there's no door on the front. It's just this open. It's totally open.
Totally open?
Yeah.
Alright, well, you think we should go in?
Yeah, you first.
Yeah, I'll go.
You walk up the small series of stairs and come in through the doorway. And it first seems as if you're in someone's like front entryway to their home. It would not seem strange to you if this was like what Jambus's looked like. It's pretty big, and you see there are a few people milling about and chatting with each other, but it's it doesn't it doesn't have the sense of temples that you're used to. This doesn't feel like a Temple of Moradin would, for example. Um,
So it's like a Scientology place rather than a church.
it looks like you've walked into almost like a private club,
Oh.
Huh.
but not. But make a perception check as you look around at the people.
Yeah.
Perception or investigation.
Keep losing my mouse.
Can I join in?
Yeah, anyone who's there can join in. This is all you're seeing. You're there.
I really wish Milady existed.
Agate, you notice that there are some beautiful carvings.
Agate?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that you were there, and I thought that Arenthos was yours.
I was like, what?
Agate
Agate,
has
you
a
die.
vision.
We know!
Arentha, you notice that there are some beautiful carvings that run up along the walls, and you see a lot of the butterflies that Trindak mentioned. They seem to be um, a consistent motif that is throughout the room, and and indeed on the rugs, at the very edges, there are like these woven butterflies that seem to be flying in towards the center. Trindak, you notice that the people here are a lot more diverse than you anticipated. Most districts in the city are not homogenous, but they have a certain class of person that's there, and this is definitely an upper level district. And yet, you see some people that are very clearly they look a little bit shabby for this sort of place, and you also see people that very clearly should be part of high society, just based on their attire and their movements, and the amount of jewelry they're wearing. But they all seem to be chatting with each other, and in fact, you see a bunch of different races that you've never seen before. Like there's one person that is just covered all over in this hair and has these small triangular ears. They look as if someone has elongated and stretched a cat, and they're just chatting with another woman in the corner, who you recognize as an elf. But it just has this sort of very collegial atmosphere, and people are laughing a little bit. And you see
they seem very accepting here.
you've seen that there are a bunch of different doors on each side, but in particular, there's one that is sort of thrown wide open and is double doors, and sort of a pleasing, almost cloying but not quite so strong a scent of incense is wafting out of there.
I've never been in a temple like this.
Neither have I've not seen anything quite like this. Do I see anybody that looks like they would be like I don't know, like receptionist kind of
You don't
deal?
you actually don't see anyone who would fit that description. There's no desks or anything. There are like some side tables and things. There's like a table in the middle that has a vase on it. But there's very clearly not some. There's like stairs in the back that seem to go up to another floor. It's like looks like a grand. It looks as if someone took a manor and then converted it.
Do we just
But should we ask somebody, or should we just go over to the smelly room?
I mean, they seem open. So maybe we could just talk to them.
All right, we can do that. Yeah. Let's. You wanna you want to approach that cat looking?
Shuffle awkwardly toward the cat woman.
When she notices your approach, she says, "Ah, hello.
Hello.
What? I have not seen you here before."
I have not been here before.
Oh, well, that is very good then. It is good that my memory is still holding up then, yes?
I guess so. That's a good thing.
Please. I am Felicia.
Felicia,
And you? Yes.
my name's Trindak.
Trindak, very good to meet you. Very good to meet you. And you?
Arantha,
Miranda, good to meet you.
do we take
Tuvalil,
our shoes
the other
off?
one, sort of grunts out.
Tuvalil.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
She seems gruffer than most elves you met, and you think that she may not be she may not be a full-blooded elf. Just based on the height as you're now coming up to her.
Oh, we're the same height.
No, you're not the
No.
same height, but
Okay.
she's a little bit shorter than you'd expect a full-blooded elf, and she's her voice is a little deeper as well.
Gotcha. Uh, so listen. So you know we are new here. A friend of mine, Martin, told me about this place.
Ah, Martin. Yes. I think I've seen him around a few times.
And plays music and all that.
Yes, he does. He has a surprising talent for one who came to it late in life.
Oh, so you learned it only recently.
Oh yes. Well, I cannot say if he first picked it up at some point, but he has certainly spent much more time with it recently. He has joined some of the choral groups.
Oh, do you do any fun things yourself?
Oh yes. Well, if you're looking for fun things, this is very much the place for it. We specialize in excitement and achieving dreams.
So,
Such
alright.
as the way in the Star Song.
So what are all the butterflies?
Oh well, they are the symbol, the preferred form of the Star Song.
The Star Song?
Yes, the song of the spheres. Desna, yes. Tender dreams.
So what do you all do here? Worship?
Ah, you have not been. You are not familiar with Mother Moon. You have never heard of Desna.
Nah, they're not.
Desna, she is not like other gods. You do not worship her in a dusty chapel, or some great cathedral, or a dank hole. You worship Desna with the life you lead, with the dreams you seek, with the experiences you have, with the wager of everything in the moment, the things you lose and the things you gain. She is not a goddess that can be contained.
That sounds very complicated.
Not so much. In time, it becomes as familiar as breathing. But if you're looking for someplace more traditional, through there, and she points out to the double doors, is a shrine that our priest, one of the priests, maintains.
Also, sorry, I'm trying to be better with my words. I don't mean to insult with complicated.
not at all.
I think everything is complicated.
Tindak, I think you will find if you spend very much time here, we are more interested in plain speech than in pretty speech.
Alright, I can see that. That makes sense.
But what do you believe? Like, if you were to sum up Desna's core values in 5 words or less, what is your like core tenets? What would you put on a logo? What's your marketing strategy?
a boring life is no life at all.
Sounds pretty dope, actually.
That is 8 words.
Trindak will actually laugh at her into saying that.
We believe that, well, some of us believe that the goddess, when all the other gods were creating the world, she was in the sky, setting the stars in the heavens. But when she saw the world, looking down from the heavens, it was boring. And so the star song came, and she looked after everything that the gods had made, and she added a little bit of excitement. So, if you want to meet the goddess, you meet her creation.
You partake.
Of everything that you can.
So I have another question.
Hmm?
My friend Martin, he said, well, one of the women here with a tattoo on their cheek, they like made him not dead, as he says.
When you mention that, her face sort of clouds a little bit. She says, "Ah, yes. There is one by that description. Yes.
Is she a good one?
She is very devout in her way. If you would like to meet her, I can look for her.
If that's okay, I don't have to if that's not good. But
There's no reason not to. Remember, a boring life is no life at all. Go
right, that's
go into the chapel,
okay.
and I will look for her."
Okay, Turndeck will shuffle off into nice to meet you. Thanks for telling us about this.
So she sort of strides off and opens one of the other doors, and you see, sort of out of the corner of your eye, um, a room that looks almost like a hunting lodge with a fire roaring in one corner and a bunch of different beasties' heads on the walls. And there are several old men sitting around the fireplace, and they're laughing. And for the moment, the noise and the shouts come out of that room before she closes the door behind her. You two, I presume, walk into the chapel. And this.
Which chat?
It's in. It is in
Oh, cool.
the Discord. It is taking a little bit of time.
Whoa, that's not that. That's different.
Oh, no, that's different.
There.
That's true.
As you walk in, and
Oh,
there are
that's
no
pretty.
chairs or anything. It's just this open, stone-walled room, and there are candles sitting in little clumps all over it. The carpets look, as you can see, worn and tattered, but not as if they're not taken care of. It seems that just many feet have crossed over them with time, and they haven't been replaced. And at the center, there is this beautiful pink tree growing out of a hole in the floor that leads to open earth. And as you approach the tree, you see for a moment what you first took to be leaves shudder and move as you realize that they're actually hundreds and hundreds of pink butterflies.
Oh man.
Whoa, that's cool. Is it possible to make a nature check on this?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, wow, okay. So Trindak, you know that this is a rare species of butterfly that is native to that is normally native to like a very high altitude, and they are typically migratory, so it's very odd to find them in a place like this. you imagine that you imagine that their presence, especially in such numbers here, is a direct sign of the goddess's favor.
So I really had to rent this. So these butterflies, they're not supposed to be here. They're,
Interesting. Can we walk up to the? Can I walk up to the tree?
Yeah, you can walk to the tree. It sort of ripples and moves in the light, but they don't fly away when you approach.
Can I try and get one to come onto my hand?
You reach out a finger and you can sort of brush against their wings, and they feel powdery and smooth, but none of them will crawl onto their finger. They just sort of crawl away from you as you move closer to the branch.
How did you find such a cool church? This is amazing.
I don't know. Everybody started like talking about me. This one guy started coming up to me. His name is Martin. He's the guy who was like dead, and now he's not. But he was like talking to me and calling me puddle drinker or something. And I didn't get that.
That's
But
vaguely racist. Go on.
is it? I didn't know what to think of it. But anyway, I don't know. And then he just told me about this woman with the butterfly tattoo that I asked back there. And
Wow.
I was curious.
This is Jill.
You hear footsteps behind you as walking into the room is a woman in a long yellow robe flowing down with a bright turquoise sort of undershirt beneath the robe. She has short brownish hair that falls along back behind her ears and then just falls to the shoulder. And she approaches, and when you turn and see, you see that her entire face is tattooed over with a massive blue butterfly, with the wings coming over her eyes so that her eyes would take the place of like the spots on a butterfly's wing, the lower extent coming down here, and the butterfly's body resting across her mouth, resting like from the top of the mouth down to end right here. And when she sees the two of you, she looks at you and says, "Welcome to the Star Song's sanctuary."
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Threndek.
Bertha.
It's very good to meet you two. I am fortunate today.
Because we are here.
Of course.
You're welcome.
Well, that's a nice thing to say.
Were it not for the Star Song's will, fortune may have fallen another way, and my path might have been very different. But you are here now, and we must enjoy each other's presence. Tell me, why have you come?
Oh well. Earlier I met this guy Martin, and he said that he was hit pretty bad, and said that you came and made him better.
Ah, Martin. Yes. He was fortunate.
In the same way, I guess.
Yes. I looked to the goddess's will, and it seems that she bid me bring him aid. And so I did.
So you didn't do it with like your own power. That was the goddess's.
I have no power but that which the goddess gives me. And when she chooses to bestow it, such things are the domain of fortune.
I see. Fortune.
There's a chime player in the background.
Oh shit! I forget. Oh, I was just gonna say like, oh, sorry for asking. I've just been learning all this power stuff lately, and I don't really know like about all these people do stuff. But that's good to know that you get yours from this goddess.
Yes, yes.
And what is your name?
Ah, my name. I am Leona, but I. In this place, I am generally called Singer.
Singer.
A
Is that
term of respect that many have chosen to provide. Although we have yet to see if it shall be deserved.
Oh, 'cause our song. You're a singer.
Yes. It's not because of any choral talent.
I didn't know if you were just really talented.
I'm very flat.
Oh no.
But that doesn't mean that one should not sing.
That's a good way to think about it, I guess.
That is what one of my brother singers told me. His wisdom stretches in different directions, but I appreciated his perspective.
So
What? Yeah.
go ahead. Nope.
No,
you go.
no, you go.
Oh god. This
Stop
is all
being
a
nice to each
character.
other. Marantha, go.
I was just gonna. What would you recommend for an intro to Desna course? Like how do you connect? What do you do to feel close? Someone who wants to get into that religious experience. I'm asking for a friend.
Is that friend me?
Yeah.
Plot twist.
Some would say that our goddess is about experience, but I think that they have a narrow view. Our goddess is about possibility. Not the thing itself, but the dream of the thing, the hope for it, the chance of receiving it, and the chance of not. I would say that you should take something that you value and risk it. A small thing at first. What shall you do this afternoon? Say. What were you thinking?
Don't know.
No. It could be as simple as. Let us say this then. Let us provide you choices. First, to go to a new district that you have never been to before, and see all the sights and sounds, wander through it endlessly, not stopping for the evening until you have seen every road. Second, to go down to the docks, to dive deep below the water, to open your eyes and look and see those things which those who walk above do not. 3, to go to the highest thing you can and look off, look about, search for some place that calls to you and then go there. Or 4, to go to an old haunt, but open your eyes as if you see it for the first time yet again. Take all of those possibilities, the potential for wonder, the joy that each of those could bring you, and risk it. Throw it to the goddess to decide.
Oh boy.
This is so cool.
Will you do so?
I think I might.
Good. Let me assist then. Come with me. And she beckons you closer as she approaches the tree.
Alright.
When she does so, She walks out. She walks over to it. She bows low at it first, lifts up her hands, closes her eyes, and then when she flares them open, her 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 eyes are just this flat silver discs looking out. And she reaches out to the tree, and suddenly the butterflies stir and they flare out, leaping from the tree out into the air, flying around, fluttering around in strange circles, shapes, movements, patterns. It is madness. It is chaos. You can barely see the room anymore, but in that, a hidden order emerges. And as the butterflies settle back down to the tree, you look down, and on your hand is, on each of your hands is a butterfly resting. She says, they will guide you.
Kind of a just hindsight is 2020. Do we notice like butterflies with people in the atrium?
Notice in what sense?
Just
They had
like
butterflies on them?
yeah, that butterflies were
butterflies.
accompanying them. Interesting.
You definitely saw the butterfly motif a lot.
Right.
And you would notice that people have like butterfly earrings. They have it on their like detailed onto like embroidery and stuff.
Can I
Okay.
put it on my nose?
You can, and it will crawl into your nose and flap gently against your face.
Hell yeah.
It says, "Go now and never look back."
Ooh. That sounds like Scar.
Okay.
Never return.
You wanna go?
I guess.
The butterflies
I guess
take
so.
off, and they take off in different directions for the two of you.
Oh, okay.
Let me know how it goes, then I run after my butterfly.
Okay. For Trindak first, then, your butterfly takes you through the house. You are rushing after it, chasing. You see groups of people past you. You hurtle through a dozen different rooms, each of them looking for a moment as they see you run by, and then they see you chasing the butterfly, and they laugh, and you hear well wishes behind you. You see strange things as you move through the rooms. There's one that has all of these clocks all over the walls. Another that is filled with strange creatures and substances in jars all lining them. But you seem to be moving up. It's taking you across staircases, taking you up and down throughout the house, and then finally, after it feels like you've been running for an hour, you come to the top, to an almost steeple-like structure, and you gaze out at the city behind you and in front of you, all around. And it stretches out on each and every side. And what's the thing that catches your eye?
You're asking me what catches my
I'm
eye?
asking you, what catches your eye?
I don't know specifically right now. I'm thinking
It
that
doesn't. It's whatever you. It's where the city contains whatever you say it contains. What catches your eye?
Meanwhile, for Rentha.
Yeah.
Okay. For
Yeah.
Arentha, the butterfly leads you out, running through the streets, chasing after it. It seems to be flying away from you, and you actually have trouble keeping up with it. And so you run faster, and you run faster. You feel your lungs burning, but it's that good burn, as if knowing that you have the strength, that you have been doing this for a long time. And a giggle rises up from within you, and you just feel happy chasing this butterfly. People look at you like you're mad, as you at times leap from the sides of buildings to try to get over a cart, moving through the town, ducking through, avoiding knocking over fruit stands, until finally
My
you find yourself at the docks, and you see the great, swell of the sea in front of you, the waves rolling in. To the right, the long set of dry docks. the damaged second best, the third or fourth along the line. To the left, the the tall structures that you recognize as the airship docks, and in front of you, the deep blue sea.
I jump in.
You rush off to the end dock and you dive deep.
I I don't know if I can swim. I could probably swim.
Yeah, you
Roll
swim
a
down.
d20.
You swim down, and when you do, how do
Yeah,
you
you
try
can
to make it
swim.
all the way to the bottom before you open your eyes, or do you?
Oh, my eyes are open the whole time.
Okay. It starts out dark, but then almost it feels as if it should get darker the deeper you go, and yet it's as if your eyes are adjusting, and you see shadows moving around you, the shapes of fish, seaweed, something more. It's hard to tell. And in fact, everything seems blurred and confusing down here, where above it all seems so clear. But it's real, and it's there, and you reach out and you feel something slide along your arm. But then you see the glint of something at the bottom.
Go for it.
Okay, make me an athletics check. Okay, you dive down deep. Your lungs beginning to strain for air as you swim deeper and deeper, and you can almost feel yourself touching it. You're so close, but your lungs are burning, and you just get a handful of sand, and then it seems to pop free and settle in your palm, and you rocket up to the surface, throwing your head back, gasping. There are a couple confused onlookers looking down at you. And you lift up, and you find yourself holding a bottle, perhaps? It's empty, but it's smooth, and it's made of this sea green glass. And it just reminds you of something. But you're not sure what. You just think about other bottles of the past. Your eyes have sat when you've sat at a bar for a long night, staring at those. And you start your doggy paddling in the water and looking at it and thinking. What do you think about?
I think about my decision to go to the monastery, which started me on the path that I'm on now.
Do you feel different now that you found a different kind of religious order? Like, has your perception of that monastery changed?
No, not from this experience. I'll just float.
Sun. You do so. Lying there, holding the bottle, as the sun slowly moves down to touch the horizon. The sky changes colors above you, reflecting on the water, and it's as if for a moment you're adrift in a sea of flame. When you finally swim back to shore, do you take the bottle with you? Okay. Trindak, where do you go?
So I was thinking what would come to Turndak's mind, and I think he notices the wall.
All right.
Yeah, and that he's like confused that like the constraint it places on everything, making it so center.
Okay. You head down, this time at a more reasonable pace. moving through the different rooms again before you pop out a side door. And then you start off walking towards the wall. It takes you some time. You're on the other side of the city from the section that you saw, but you spend that time keeping your eyes on it the whole way. And when you finally arrive at it, it's different from what you saw. It looks as if it's made almost from single segments of stone, of vast size, more than you'd anticipate any person could move by hand or indeed quarry at all. And yet it stays there, interlocked, unmortared, strong and steady. It's not tremendously high, but it is solid and thick and cool to the touch. Do you try to climb the wall?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing so openly, or are you trying to be quiet about
I think he's doing it.
it? Okay. If this you got to do an almost cool evening, but I'm very